Hello everybody, welcome to the latest episode of FPL Affairs, the podcast that discusses our 9-month-long love affair with FPL, including the ins and outs that keep us awake at night. In the penultimate video of the season, I bring to you the very first annual admin awards. Some of them are for good things, some for bad, and some for quite ugly things that the admin have done in FPL this year. Anyway, before we get started, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you click the little bell, then you should receive notifications when we issue any new videos. Anyway, let's get cracking.
And there's Mo Salah. There goes Haaland. He's on his way again. He's hungry. He scored. Ice cold precision from Palmer. Ayo Saka. That is a diamond of a goal.
Hello everybody, welcome to the very first FPL Affairs podcast admin awards with me, Matt, aka the FPL Affairs veteran. Now, recent weeks, we brought the weekly good, the bad, and the ugly, recognising those weekly decisions made by members of the admin team. So I decided we'll do a full season version. The awards that have been selected, some recognise some good, positive decisions made by admin members. Some acknowledge some bad, negative FPL decisions, and some of them are, well, just downright ugly. Those decisions and which awards they are, I'll leave up to you. Anyway, before we get started on the admin awards for the season, we'll just have a quick look at who gets which for game week 38. Let's get cracking. Game week 38, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Which admin wins which? The good goes to somebody who made a cracking transfer decision. They removed Marino due to the Arsenal uncertainty of rotation, and they brought in Semenyo for his 16-point haul. So the first one, round of applause, goes to Mr. Barry Stokes. Well done there, Barry. Cracking decision. The bad this week goes to somebody who may well have forgotten that although this season you can roll up to 5 transfers, that if you roll a transfer, they don't roll into next season, I'm afraid. So the bad decision for the week goes to Mr. Andrew Thorlby. Who knows whether we'll even be able to roll 5 next season, let alone 3. Anyway, the ugly decision. This I found quite tricky to decide. Remember, the ugly is not necessarily a really bad decision. It can be a sensible decision that didn't quite work out, or it could be a risky decision that you can be a bit undecided. Did it work out? Did it not work out? Which is what this week's decision is about. This person took an ugly risk by taking a -12 hit. He knows who he is now I've said that. Anyway, he did get the top score in the admin league by a good margin. He got 80 points, but then take away the -12 leaves him with 68, which in fact would still be just top of the admin league. Was the bench booster success? Was the bench booster success? Your choice. Let us know in the comments below. So it goes. The ugly decision to Mr. David Paxton. Yeah, big gamble there, Dave. So let us know as well whether you are satisfied with that week and whether it paid off or not. Anyway, enough about game week 38. Should we get started with the first award of the admins, FPL Affairs Admins Awards of the 24-25 season? And we will start with the final tables. I've decided to go a little bit different with the final overall Classic League table. I've made up one for the first half of the season, game weeks 1 to 19, and I've also made up the league table for game weeks 20 to 38, and then following that, the full overall combined table. Anyway, Let's have a peek at game weeks 1 to 19. Facebook group founder, Mr. Lewis Greening, and die another day, propping up the bottom with the only one that got less than 1,000 points in the first half of the season. Ouch. If you look at the top, Mr. Kieran Ball, his crystal balls were definitely working in the opening 19 weeks, gaining 1,252 points and a 10-point lead over Mick Shannon and Better Call Salah. FPL Affairs, the master, Jack Lucas, was in third, Small Bone Big Dreams, a further 22 points behind with 1,220, and just 3 points behind him, former admin Ben Steers, then a big gap, me heading up the rest, propping up the rest. Mr. Martin Murray on Arne Slotzenegger, Dave Paxton's Ebenezer Good, Jack Asprey's Buy and Brew, Barry Stokes, the differential king of the All in Football podcast, his team Cheesy Garnachos, Mohammed FPL Jurian, Paul Allnut, aka the FPL Affairs Weasel, No Salah, No Haaland team, Andrew Farnaby's Akuna Mateta in penultimate, just above Lewis Greening. Mohammed had a great start, first couple of weeks. Kieran was leading basically every single one of those 19 weeks, perhaps bar the first two, I think, largely because he played his triple captain on Haaland in game week 2, home to Ipswich, I think, my memory serves me correctly. But anyway, that was the opening 19 weeks. So the first half done, but the second half, the crystal ball wasn't quite working so well. As I mentioned last week, he blames me in the fact that because he appeared on the podcast, he's saying he's received a red arrow every week, and that was me laying a curse on him. No, it wasn't. Second half of the season, I managed to turn it around, topping the table with 1,337 points, a big 27 points clear of Mick Shannon. You'll notice Barry and Paul got the third and fourth most points, very close together, only 4 between them, just under 1,300, and they'd shot up from 9th and 11th respectively, so they are really strong second half to the season. Ben steadily carried on in 5th, actually kept virtually all of his chips to the last few weeks, which was intriguing. In 6th, Kieran Ball definitely struggled in that second half. Also, the FPL Affairs Master Jack had a bit of a plummet in the second half too, although to be fair to him, he became a parent in that time. So priorities did, in all honesty, go the right way as parenthood. But Jack, you best be coming back next season. No excuses. May have to give you an alternative name to the master, though. Or have a think. Viewers, actually, if you've got any suggestions on Jack's alter ego name, handle, FPL Affairs 1 for FPL Affairs handle for next season, love to hear the suggestions in the comments below. The bottom half, Mohammed, Dave, Martin, Jack, Lewis, and then Andrew at the bottom. So that was the second half of the season. How that rolled and combined meant Mick Shannon was the most consistent across the season, and his team finished top on 2,552 points, a big gap between him and Kieran Ball. Now, those of you that are aware, the admin team did, at the start of the season, put together our own brains and ideas to come up with the admin's assembled team, and that team actually finished top on 2,574. But for the sake of this table being our individual teams, we've chopped that off the top. So it's just the unlucky 13th, Lewis at the bottom. In third place, myself, with not exactly sure, 2,521 points. In the end, I was only 5 points behind Kieran in second, 2,526. And as I previously said, big congratulations to Mick, better called Salah, with 2,552 points, 26 ahead of Kieran. So should we move on to the first awards in relation to the tables? Okay, the first one is not necessarily a serious one. The first award is called the Bottler, and the Bottler award goes to the admin member with the most FPL points at the midway point of the 24 season, who then tailed off under pressure. and bottled it. So big round of applause to Mr. Kieran Ball, the 24-25 winner. So well done to you. Challenge is now, can you hold it together for longer next season? What will you do differently? The second award is the Patient Award. Now, this goes to the admin member who either had a poorly start and got better, or to the person that gained the most points or rank in the second half of the season. So 25 Patient Award goes to myself. Why, thank you very much. Why, thank you very much. I'll go through this when we do the final end of season. But I had a really tricky, and I've made no secret of this before, opening 10 weeks. Tried to be smart with cheaper alternatives to Trent Almer by going that in Jared Kwanzaa of Liverpool as a way into their defence and Nkunku into the Chelsea attack. Neither worked out for secure minutes, so I had to address those. And basically, the first few weeks I was just underinvested in Liverpool, so that cost me a lot. And it was only really a triple transfer in game week 10, which did result in a massive red arrow that week, but that turned it around in a way. I was ranked 4.4 million in the world at that point, and ended up on a green arrow at the end of game week 8 was 82k in the world. So a bit undecided as to how I feel about the season, because my target was top 50k. I lost that, missed out on it. But on the flip side, I finished the season with my highest rank of the season, and I made a big recovery. I almost gave up on game week 10, but I showed a lot of patience, and it was a hard graft. So very much appreciated for the Patient Award. Anyway, moving on to the most serious and prestigious award, the Classic FPL League winner overall, the admin member with the most FPL points at the end of the season in the FPL Hardcores Admin Private League. And as you may remember from the league table, is Mr. Mick Shannon, Better Call Salah. So well done to you, Mick. Now, as well as the top dog of the league, you also get the wooden spoon at the bottom. So our next award, the wooden spoon winner, is the admin member with the least FPL points at the end of the season in the admin league. And you may recall that was our group founder, Mr. Lewis Greening, and Die Another Day. So round of applause, Lewis, and please send me a private message with your address so I can post to you a signed FPL Affairs wooden spoon. And I promise it's not a budget one from the pound shop. Anyway, moving on, we've got two more serious awards. The winner of the Admin Head-to-Head League and the winner of the Admin Cup, both of which, mainly the winner of the Head-to-Head League, who's a bit grumpy at the moment, insisted that I include it in the awards. So looking at the Hardcores Head-to-Head Admin League, apologies, I've missed out the word admin in the title of the league. Average finished bottom with a score of 31 points. You'll notice there's only 12 people in there, unfortunately, because it's head-to-head league. When it got locked, Jack Lucas and Mohammed hadn't signed up to it at that point. So unfortunately for them, they were not part of it. Andrew propping up in 11th with 40 points. Jack Asprey in 10th, only 1 point ahead of Andrew. Lewis faring better with the head-to-head, 45 points, but 1 point above him with 46. All in football podcasts, Barry Stokes. Big gap then, bit isolated and lonely in the middle in 7th. David Paxton, who was actually last year's winner and hasn't had a great one. He's not happy with this year's, but 9 points ahead of Barry on 55 and 8 points behind FPL Affairs apprentice Martin, finished with 63 points, just the one behind FPL Weasel Paul on 64, 2 points behind myself on 66. Big gap, well, big-ish gap of 6 points to Ben Steers, who finished third. Well done to him with 72. 4 behind the Classic League winner, Mick Shannon, 76. And the winner, 5 points clear, Mr. Kieran Ball with 81. So top two in the head-to-head league, the opposite way around to the Classic League. So the winner of the Hardcore's FPL Affairs Admin's head-to-head league is Mr. Kieran Ball with the Crystal Balls team. Well done, Kieran. You won your second trophy of the evening. Moving on to the FPL Affairs Admin League Cup winner. So the admin member who won the Knockout Admin League Cup. What was very interesting was that the final was Admins Assemble, our joint team, against the admin member, and it was the same final in the FPL Hardcores Cup. And the winner of that was the FPL Affairs Weasel himself, Mr. Paul Allnut. Congratulations to you, Mr. Weasel, with your no Salah, no Haaland team, and he went without both for the whole season. Well done for winning the League Cup. And if I remember, in game week 38, I think it was captaincy on Jared Bowen. Well done to you, Paul. Now, the data rewards, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The first silly data reward is the Squanderer. And the Squanderer basically means someone who spends excessively. And this award goes to the admin member who took the biggest hit, which was a -12 in an individual game week this season. Now, only one admin member took a -12 at any point throughout the whole season. As you all noticed from earlier in the game week 38, good, the bad, and the ugly, it was the ugly award. The winner of the 24-25 Squanderer Award is Mr. Dave Paxton. Well done to you, Dave. Whether you will risk and do another -12 next season, we shall see. The next award is the Spendthrift. And the Spendthrift is the admin member who made the most transfers, which was 58, costing him a whopping -232 points. So the most hits during this season. You may be able to make a sensible guess as to who this may be. The winner this season goes to Mr. Andrew Farnaby and Hakuna Mateta. He finished second bottom of the admin league. So what I'd be especially intrigued to know is how many of those hits actually worked out and resulted in green arrows, because 232 points is a lot of positions rank-wise. And I believe 2.8 million was Andrew's final overall rank. Maybe you can learn something from 58 transfers. We shall see. Our next reward is the Frugal. Now, the Frugal is basically someone who's quite cautious and quite careful. We decided to give this to the person who made the least transfers, which was 37. Only 37 transfers across the whole season. And bear in mind, we get given 34 free transfers because we don't get a free transfer in game week 1 or in either of our 2 wildcards or in the free hit. So the Frugal made just an additional 3, sacrificing 12 points across the whole season. This year, the winner is Mr. Barry Stokes with cheesy garnachos. Very tight and very cautious. Well done to you, Barry, for being a Frugal. The interesting question for that would be whether you missed out by being a bit cautious on some points and whether your rank could have been higher. But either way, a tough thing to not jump in with risks and take 1 week punts, especially as a differential king. I was surprised there wasn't like 1 week punts on a differential each week. Anyway, the next award is the Sideliner, and the Sideliner goes to the admin member with the most benched FPL points. And it was 399 across the whole season, and the highest in one particular week out of anyone was actually the same person with 34 points. Sadly, they didn't bench boost that week. Rather unfortunate. The winner of the Sideliner 24-25 is Mr. Paul Allnut, aka the FPL Affairs Weasel. So well done to you, Mr. Sideliner. But what actually is interesting, the collective admins assemble team, actually, I meant to say this with the least transfers, it only made 35 transfers, so it took 1 -4 across the whole season, and it finished top of the table. It also had the most benched points with 402 across the whole season, and the most benched points in one given game week, which was 38. Finding out those three pieces of statistics is the big sort of what if we, as an admin team, made more sensible collective benching decisions, and where we would have finished up ranking wise, because we did finish up just 21.8k in the world. Sorry for getting sidetracked again. So well done, Paul, for winning the Sideline Award this season. The next one is the MEGA, and the MEGA Award is the admin member with the lowest team value of 100.8 million at the end of the season. So that's someone who's not necessarily the most careful or cautious. The winner of the MEGA this season goes to our founding member, Lewis Greening, Die Another Day. Lewis, I'll be intrigued as to how your team value was so low. I'm wondering whether next season you could monitor the price rises and price falls a bit more carefully. And then you might be able to take advantage of price changes and jump on people at the right time. The next award is the Treasurer, which is the opposite of the MEGA, and it goes to the admin member with the highest team value, which is 106.9 million at the end of the season. We did have quite a few admin members that were above the 106 million threshold, but the member that had the highest team value was Mr. Jack Asprey and Bayern Brew. So well done for that, Jack. If you do play again next season, perhaps you can utilize having the highest team value effectively by investing at the right times on some point scoring players. Moving on is the Centurion, which you can probably guess if you understand what Century means. It's the admin member who broke the 100 barrier in the most game weeks, and this member broke 100 in 6 of the 38 game weeks. So won quite hands down with this. And the winner, yet another award, Mr. Kieran Ball with Crystal Balls. And his highest of those 6 was 121 points. So yeah, well done, Key, for your 6 centuries. But either way, it didn't win you the title. You still bottled it. The next one, the Innovator, and this was someone who goes a bit away from the template and innovates with their team. It's the person that won the most Team of the Weeks, which was on 8 occasions, considerably more than the next best. So the winner goes to one of our most differential admin members, Mr. Martin Murray with Arne Slotsenegger. Some of those weeks were quite high, but not high enough, because despite winning Team of the Week on 8 occasions, you were one of only 2 admin managers that failed to get a single century. But silver lining, you got the most Team of the Weeks. Well done, Martin, for that. You got the Innovator Award this season. The next one is the Potholer, and the Potholer goes to the admin member who had the least FPL points in one game week. In one game week, this member got only 25 points, which was in game week 8. We do need to take into account that some game weeks just unfortunately do have a significantly lower average game score, but that was the lowest out of any of us in any given week. So the Potholer this season is Mr. Jack Ashbury of Bayern Brew. So well done, Jack. Or, well, maybe not so well done with that one. Moving on to the next award is the opposite of the Potholer, and it's the Jackpot. A bit ironic that Jack didn't actually get this one. But anyway, goes to the admin member with the most FPL points in one game week, which was 150 in game week 24. And that was the winner of the Wooden Spoon, as it goes. The jackpot this season is Mr. Lewis Greening, 150. Impressive. And that was his only century as well. So well done to Lewis for winning the jackpot this season. Moving on, the Deflated. The Deflated award goes to the admin member who achieved the lowest game week rank, which was over 10.5 millionth rank in the world out of somewhere between 11 and 12 million. So really low down, just one solitary individual week this season. It's different to the Potholer because this may not necessarily have been a low scoring week. It was just that the deflated winner was a lot lower than the average. And the winner, the most deflated admin member this season, is Mr. Lewis Greening again. We didn't die another day. So what I found actually making these awards, before moving on to the next one actually, which is the inflated, is how some members get some good or some really bad individual weeks, but don't necessarily do so well across the whole season. And some of the admin team members did well over the course of the season, but not necessarily have an outstanding game week or game weeks here or there. Well, mind you, Kieran did get 6 centuries, but anyway, I'm not going to go on about that because I'll leave that to him. So we had deflated, which was the lowest game week rank. The next award goes to the inflated, and this is the admin member who achieved the highest game week rank of 1,782nd in the world in game week 1. So they had a really good first week. Unfortunately, it didn't necessarily continue throughout the whole season, hence the comparison to a balloon of the inflated, because usually if something inflates, it deflates as well. But anyway, in all respect, congratulations to the winner of the inflated award, and that is Mohammed with FPL Jurian. So well done for that fabulous opening team selection and first game week. Moving on, the Axed. Now the Axed award, I wonder, admin members, if you can make any guesses with the careful selection of name for this particular award, because it goes to the admin members with the most consecutive red arrows of 6 this year. There were 3 members that got 6, one of which did recently experience throwing axes, which is Mr. Kieran Ball, the Crystal Balls himself. And alongside him, also with 6 reds in a row, were Andrew and Mohammed. So all 3 6 consecutive red arrows. Ouch. So target you 3 with your axe throwing next year would be to see if you can avoid 6 consecutive reds. Moving on is to the person who got the most red arrows in total, and they received the title of the Misguided. This admin member, red after red after red after red, and so on at the tail end of the season. According to him, I got out my magic wand, wherever it is, and laid a curse on him. So congratulations yet again, or maybe not congratulations, the winner of the Misguided is Mr. Kieran Ball. This is well done for being misguided with your final week's transfers in particular. Positives. We've just had a couple of reds and concentrated on red arrows, so we're now going to concentrate on green. The bullseye is for the admin member with the most consecutive green arrows, and this blew my mind seeing this total. 11 straight greens. And with 11 straight greens, this person's rank shot up significantly during that period. Unfortunately, that luck ran out and his rank dropped. But either way, 11 consecutive green arrows. Round of applause to our winner, Mr. Martin Murray. Arne Schwarzenegger. Very differential. Good run. So we've had, with the bullseye, the most consecutive green arrows of 11. We're now going to look at the Robin Hood Award, which goes to the admin member with the most green arrows, which was 24 out of 38 game weeks in total. Now, interestingly enough, the most green arrows was the Admins Assemble team with 26, but they're excluded from these awards as a reminder, so tough luck. On the plus side, it goes to me, the winner of Robin Hood. Quite apt, actually, that as a Newcastle fan, that Harvey Barnes' goal celebration is an arrow. Although his are a lot more important. The final FPL Affairs Admins Award is a special award entitled The Philosopher. And the Philosopher is the admin member who quite openly shares the widest variety of thoughts across this season. Some may know him better as a bit of a waffler, or you may know him as a master. The winner of this season's Philosopher Award is Mr. Jack Lucas. aka the FPL Affairs Master, with his team Smallbone Big Dreams. Before we finish, I'm going to initiate some of my own philosophy that I have learned from looking at this data in particular. Certainly if you've selected in your settings of the FPL site about receiving feedback and contact from the official game, is use your personalized end of season review, which will be emailed directly to you soon, and use that review to try and identify where or how you made some mistakes. And if you're able to identify those, whether they're ones that are amendable rather than just bad luck, see how you can then approach next season differently. So that might be perhaps you made an excessive amount of transfers and hits this season. Maybe a lot of them resulted in red arrows. So in which case, perhaps next season, try to roll your transfers more and take less hits. Actually, going into this season was one of mine. I think last season I sacrificed 50 points on hits throughout the season, and a lot of those resulted in reds. So I set myself the target of doing less, and I managed to get through this season with taking just 5, but still not the least. Well, to Barry for that. He made only 3 hits. Second main lesson is, can you actually learn anything from your mini league rivals? So for me, looking through the data and the admin awards, one thing I can take from FPL Weasel's total is regarding his Sidewinder trophy, having the most bench points, is he must have had throughout the season quite a decent bench, and on that bench having players that are perhaps regular starters, so they're getting a lot of game time. Perhaps some of the game weeks he got, and like his most was 34 points on one game week, was if he had players that would normally be in his starting 11, but they had a tough fixture, so he moved them to the bench. But then if they were playing for a top team, they may still have got a decent return on that particular week. Either way, what I've learned from that is with your squad, and it will be tricky at the start of the season especially, but really try to fill it with players that are as nailed starters as possible and get the most minutes as possible, because then you've got an increased chance of them getting returns than if they're frequently off the bench. And the final lesson learned really is, if you remember back at the start of the season, the new rule came out that you can roll up to 5 transfers, including over wildcards. So you wouldn't have to sacrifice any roll transfers before using your wildcard. You wouldn't lose them. I managed to roll up to maybe 3. Definitely didn't get anywhere near as 5. So if this ruling continues next season, I think I could be a bit more, ironically, winning the patient award. See if I can roll more often when I can. And if you remember, those of you that have watched throughout the season, the Master's main quote that he liked to say at the end of every episode was to roll when you can, because you never know when you could get suddenly hit by injuries and suspensions in one go. So, reminder for next season, roll when you can. Now, at this point, I was actually going to do an over-the-shoulder camera look at the scribble I did when making up and researching the admin awards, but I've been blubbering on and blabbering on and waffling on for far too long as it goes. And if you've got as far as this part, you are an absolute hero and saint of mine. Thank you for putting up with me, and thank you to the admin for actually putting up with me. And I've actually tried not to be too smug this second half of the season. Okay, where you can find us, x.com FPL Affairs. Just search in Facebook under the group, in the group section, FPL Affairs, and we should pop up straight away. Alternatively, click the link in the description, which is facebook.com/groups/Fantasy Premier League FPL1. Alternatively, if you like this video and subscribe to our channel, hitting that bell on YouTube at FPL Affairs is our handle. You'll get access to what we've done so far, as well as prep for next season. Finally, the Spotify link at the bottom. Lastly, before I go, our final video of the season. I'll release next week, which is our whole end of season review, where I'll look at my team in particular, what I've learned, also outline what sensible and silly lessons the admin team have learned from this season, and how we can take that forward and what we've actually learned from the AA team and working collaboratively on that. Well, my final thought or final comment is different to normal, nearly, because the season is over. So keep your lessons learned under wraps till next time. Bye-bye.
Italian points with steady hands, building leagues across the lands. Behind the scenes they make it flow, heroes we rarely get to know. FPL admins running the game, unsung legends earning the fame. Week by week they set the stage, turning football into a craze. Transfers locked and deadlines tight, guiding us through the fantasy night. With every goal they keep the score, fueling dreams we all adore. Behind the curtain they work away, through the chaos they find a way. Silent architects of our delight, FPL stars shining bright. FPL admins running the game, unsung legends earning the fame. Week by week they set the stage, turning football into a craze. FPL admins running the game, unsung legends earning the fame. Week by week they set the stage, turning football into a craze. So here's to the ones who make it run, the silent gears behind the fun. FPL admins take your bow, your moments here, the time is now.